the evolution, that's a great word. And I think Steve and I will talk a little bit about that in a little bit. But one of the main things too is we talk so much about, the income part. What people are missing is that it evolved into more than just income. Yeah, the income's great, people that need it, right? But what these companies have now done is they've evolved the word annuity into now a product that can actually do different things and supply different things for a customer than just income. Like I said earlier with Steve, income's a big part in the retirement industry, but when you're looking at correlating with retirement, sometimes clients don't need income. And that's why these companies have did what they've done. And if you're out there and you think that annuities are just about income, you're all wrong. I mean, these things have evolved. The evolution from where, and you tell me stories about 30 years ago, but tell these customers, these clients, what's the difference between they were 30 years ago to what they are now?
Well, I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head when you mentioned the income planning. We used to use what was called a single premium immediate annuity back in the day to create income, and people put a deposit into this annuity and they would take an income, and they either took it over 10 years, 5 years, or lifetime. And we used it a lot for income planning. And the main reason for that was because there wasn't a lot of growth when I first got in this business. You didn't have a lot of accumulation inside of an annuity. And so you didn't really see, I mean, you saw some fixed rate stuff that looked like CDs, but really the primary purpose was planning for income. And now, like you said, the evolution, and we talked about it in what Jim mentioned, but I think I want to back up a minute and point out some of the things that annuities can do in retirement. And, I think we need to bring that out because I just had a client in here before the show started and unfortunately we're filing a death claim and he was all worried about probate. And I said, look, I'll say his first name is Michael. And I said, Michael, look, you don't have to worry about that. You're the named beneficiary. It's in the contract. There's no probate. There's no courts. It goes from your beneficiary to you. His wife passed away. So I think that's important. When you think about retirement, a lot of people that, before retirement aren't thinking about dying. And, as you get older, as we start thinking about retirement and planning out the rest of our life, some of the things like no probate could be important,
Yeah. And that's the tax deferral status with that, and then the joint income side for the spouse. If they did have that joint income, he would be able to, and there's products like that now where you can actually get lifetime income for both spouses, even if one passes for life.
So even on an IRA, David, even with IRA money.
Yep. And that's where, again, if you're out there and you think that things are the same as they were 30 years ago, they evolve every year, actually every month, really, and we get a new product in. I mean, I think probably every 1 or 2 months, you see some new company come out with a new product to actually gain business, but you want to be able to take advantage of these things, and you want to be able to take advantage of what's new and what's out there, because if companies want your business, it's a give and take. So they have to give you something to be able to earn business too. So, and that's something you have to be on top of.
I think it's a great point, David, because you start seeing all this competition in this industry with all the billions and billions of dollars deposited into annuities. There's a lot more companies getting involved. And whenever you see competition like that, it's usually better for the consumer.
100%.
If there's more people competing, then the next one's trying to outdo the other company. So now they're going to give a shorter term. Maybe they're going to give higher interest rates, better index accounts.
But and we had a company with and it's kind of like one of those games where each side starts betting more, right? Because one company will come out with an income rider that pays a certain percentage, right? Then all of a sudden, in 2 or 3 months, you'll see another company get up there, right? And then you'll see all these companies kind of competing because their business is being lost if they're not going to be competitive with the market. And that's where things are driving uphill. Is we're seeing a lot of companies come out with new fixed index, new registered index linked annuities. You're seeing a lot of different rates, right, being competitive. And we talked about on a earlier episode about CD rates and why you shouldn't be in a CD. And again, if you're hearing this and you haven't looked at our earlier episode, you need to go back and watch it. If you're in CDs, you should not be in CDs. And that's something that we talked about. Another type of annuity, which is a MYGA, right? A multi-year guaranteed annuity that gives you that fixed rate. It's like a CD. But the other thing that annuity offers in the retirement industry is the tax deferral. So you don't have to really spend or to have a 1099 INT form. You don't have to actually pay for those taxes until you take that money out.